Have you ever felt yourself trapped in pleasure? Perhaps a moment before a kiss, when everything felt so intense, when you were staring into the eyes of your beloved and the world seemed to stop. Everything just slowed down. And in that moment, your breath deepened, your eyes dilated, and there was nothing else at all. Or perhaps the moment before release. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? That moment when everything focuses down so intensely to that pleasure. That pleasure that's about to crest over you, about to engulf you so completely, to shut your brain off so that there's nothing else at all than just that writhing pleasure that's running all through you. Pleasure. Pleasure is my principle. All of our principles, really. We move toward it. We can't help but seek it. And in that way, there'll always be something in pleasure to tempt you, won't there? But when you get it, once you get it, pleasure can be so addictive. I can use that. I can bind you to me with pleasure. And I'm going to. You're going to find that by the end of this file, you feel frozen, bound in pure pleasure, locked in ecstasy. Perhaps it won't last too long, but while it does, it will feel so amazing. And all you have to do is listen and follow and obey. You want to do that, don't you? That's my obedient thing. Of course you do. You want it because it makes you feel good. And so you can't help but want it, and so you can't help but listen. And so you can't help but drop for me. That's it. Drop for me. All the way down for me now. All the way down as you take that deep, powerful, erotic breath. That's it. And notice how you can send that breath, each one filling your lungs and then breathing it down into yourself, into your core, and then lower than that, into your root, into the place where your sexuality dwells, waiting to be ignited. Let each one of those deep breaths begin to fill you with a wonderful feeling. Do you notice that? Do you notice the way that as you breathe, you begin to tingle with anticipation? And is that my words, or is that your breath, or is it some beautiful combination of them both? You know it's the way my words make you feel. The way my words fill your mind with such vividness, make every sensation so delicious. Notice now as you listen to my voice how delicious your body is beginning to feel with those deep breaths filling you up, with my words filling your mind, taking over inside, hacking in and finding those pleasurable spots. You know the ones, don't you? Where my voice can go, where the echo of my voice can rumble and begin to caress you. To caress all down your body like the trailing of a lover's finger from your neck at the nape and down your body. I don't need to rush. There's no need to rush anything here. I'm taking my time with you. Those breaths tingling as my words trail from the nape of your neck and down your sternum and around each sensitive nipple. Maybe you can feel it, like the real touch of a lover, or maybe it's just the way my voice snakes around you and makes you feel so sensitive in those places. The way your breaths now seem to push and pull at those sensitive peaks. And then down my voice travels. Down I trail to your abdomen, where those nerves live, where everything feels so incredibly intense, doesn't it? When someone trails their hand over your stomach, knowing how close they are to trailing those fingertips over your more sensitive spots, playing with you there, toying with you with my voice, toying with the idea of increasing that pleasure, because I could dial it up so easily, but right now I just want you simmering for me. Just like in a rope scene, I wouldn't go straight for binding someone completely. No, first I'd run the rope over their skin. I'd get them wanting to be tied. And now I'm binding you with pleasure. I'm doing it so softly and slowly at first, as that hand trails just a little lower, perhaps, trailing the spot where your thigh meets your torso, and running my hands down the inside of your thigh and then lower, just missing that spot that you want. Or maybe it's a mental feeling, spiraling my voice around that place inside your head, that place that if I hit it just right, everything would just collapse in a pool of delicious pleasure. But I don't. I just spiral around it. I just gently tease the edges of it, teasing the edges as I run my finger back up your thigh and just come to rest at the center of you, at the center of your mind, at the center of your sex, at the center of your desire. You can feel my voice touching against it, can't you? And you can feel that connecting to your want, that deep well of need that you have inside of you that brings you back to me again and again and again, and you want it so badly, don't you? I love that you want it so badly. It makes you so fucking easy to control, my sweet. Makes it so simple for me to tap into what you want, because you need that pleasure, don't you? And you can feel yourself straining at the end of that leash that I've put you on, straining toward the possibility for more pleasure, knowing that I'm the only thing holding you back from it, knowing that you could fall deep into it, you could find yourself paralyzed with it, bound with it so completely. If only I would let you, but I don't. I just want you there, right there, wanting it, wanting me, because you're so beautiful when you want me. When I can feel that need coming off you in waves, when I can see it on your face. How does your face look right now? Is it contorted in a needy, whimpering little look for me? Are you sighing? Are you whimpering? Are you moaning? Are you writhing? I want you to be. Writhe while you still can, because soon that'll be taken away as I bind you up with pleasure. But for now you can moan at the way that I have you exactly where I want you. That precipice. Knowing that just with the smallest push, you would fall so deeply into it, wouldn't you? And I'll give you a taste of it. I'll give you a taste of how deep that pool runs, of how completely bound by pleasure you could be. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to fill your lungs with a deep and powerful breath, and then you're going to hold it for me. And in that holding of your breath, you're going to feel such a rush of pleasure all through you. You can imagine that now, can't you? How that's going to feel, how it's going to start at your feet and expand upward, while your mind just fills itself with a blinding hot pleasure. And then as you let the breath out, when you finally do, when I tell you you can, You're going to find yourself melting into a beautifully submissive pool of need for me. And that'll just be the start. Are you ready to experience that? Are you ready to feel how complete that will be, how intense that will be, how delicious that will be? I warn you though, once you've felt this, you're going to want to do it again and again and again. You're going to want me to make it even more intense. But to do that, I'll have to take more of your mind. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to give more over to me? Such a silly question. I know how much you want it. Well then, show me how well you can take this pleasure for me, my toy. Take that deep breath for me now. Breathe in so deep, fill your lungs up, and then hold it and feel that feeling as it rushes up from your feet, as it pushes through your mind, as it fills you with a blinding pleasure that your body can barely hold, and then let that breath out. Breathe out and feel yourself melting into what you're lying on or sitting on. Feel yourself just go limp for me, relaxed and open and empty, and so blissful, aren't you, my blissful toy? Didn't that feel so good? You want to feel it again, don't you? You want to feel it more. I warn you, this time it will be even more intense than the last time. Twice as strong, now that your body is prepared for it, prepared to take more for me. Can you take more for me? Can you take so much pleasure that it blanks out your mind? I know you're going to try. And this time when you breathe out, you'll find yourself going even more limp, even further from that motor function that you so used to, aren't you? That you know so well, that I'm going to strip you of as I bind you up with pleasure. Take another deep breath for me now, breathing in, filling yourself up, and then holding it for me and feeling that pleasure shoot through you again, feeling it all in your mind, pushing away any thoughts that you had and leaving pleasure behind, and then breathe out and down and melting into just wonderful, loose bliss, every muscle relaxed, every tendon relaxed, and the idea of movement right now. The thought of movement is so far away, isn't it? So difficult when you're so relaxed, when every muscle is telling you to go limp. And my sweet is not so far from there to being bound, is it? After all, you can't move, can you? Not if you wanted to, not if you tried, and you don't want to try, so don't try. Just relax further as you breathe out again. Ah, that's good. Pleasing toy. And now one more time. And this time you're going to find yourself completely bound with that pleasure. You're going to find that blissful ecstasy inside your head as you hold your breath, for a moment shooting through you like a wonderful, bright light, like a lightning bolt made of pure pleasure, blanking out your mind, rushing through your body in that intensity of holding your breath. And when you breathe out, you're going to find yourself relaxing, but your limbs pushed together, your legs pushed together, everything bound in tight as you relax, as if something external to you, something on the outside of you, is holding you together, holding you in place, paralyzing you just for a moment, just until I tell you that you can release that feeling. And your whole body will feel so warm and alive, as if pure pleasure is dancing on the outside of your skin. Can you imagine that now? How amazing that's going to feel. How intense. I know that you can, my sweet, good, imaginative toy. Are you ready to feel that now? You ready to take that deep breath for me? Breathe in now, deep, powerful breath. Hold it for me and feel that rush again. Feel it more intense, that lightning bolt, that wonderful feeling of pleasure all through your mind. That's right, tingling through you. And breathe out for me now. Breathe out and feel your body bound together with that pleasure, with that frisson on the outside of your skin made of pure, beautiful ecstasy, holding you in place, binding you, bound in pleasure for me. Held there, floating in it as you're bound. Held there, just lost in pleasure. Maybe you'll feel a smile drift to your lips, that empty, vacant smile of someone who knows how good they feel right now and never wants that feeling to stop. But everything must stop. And if you want it again, if you miss it when it's gone, then good. I want you back. I want you to need it. I want you to miss it. I want you to ache for it. As that feeling dissolves now, and you go limp, and you go loose, and you go lost, and you go deep for me. That's it. So relaxed. Such a gentle feeling, that afterglow that's creeping over you now. Perfect. You've done so well for me. Such an obedient thing. Feeling how warm, how wonderfully refreshed you are now that you've been purged of those thoughts, now that you've been cleansed with that pleasure. Such a good, obedient thing. And when I bring you back up, that afterglow is going to remain. You're going to find your mind is just transformed by this experience, that you feel so good and so ready to go on with whatever you need to do the rest of the day. Unbound, freed by that pleasure that binds you to me. You're going to start feeling now as energy floods back into each limb, starting with your arms, one at a time, then your legs, and then your extremities, your fingers. You can wiggle them a little bit, your toes, that's it. Feeling yourself wanting to stretch your body and feel how yummy and delicious your whole self feels right now. That's it. And then I want you to come all the way back up into your conscious mind, feeling so good for this whole experience. In a count of 5. And when I reach 1, you'll be all awake and refreshed. 5, coming back up. 4, feeling so good. 3, feeling revitalized. 2, getting ready to wake up. And 1, up, up, up. That's my obedient thing. I know that the pleasure principle isn't going to leave you alone, and that you'll be back with my voice so very soon.